thank people for coming, and I especially want to thank our hosts for taking us on a tour of this beautiful spot here in Plymouth, which, as I recall, is located in a transit-oriented development part of Plymouth where I remember at least 3 projects that were related to this. A residential project over there, a big walking path that was also part of this, and then the train station, all of which have been part of a work that, is it the Carthage project? Is that one of the things? Cordage. The Cordage project that we've been working with people in Plymouth on for a number of years. We're here today to announce another round of grants to small businesses across the Commonwealth. But before I speak to that, I do want to give a quick update on vaccines. Yesterday, appointments started to become available for people 75 years or older to begin on February 1st. All residents in this age group can visit mass.gov COVID vaccine and use that statewide map to locate an appointment for themselves. And the scheduling is done through online portals there. The high volume of people working to secure appointments all at once, it was a very frustrating day. We know that for everybody, especially for those who were looking to book an appointment and couldn't find one. We know how important it is for people to get appointments booked. That can't happen fast enough. And in addition to the website's online booking system, we're working to make more resources available for seniors, and we'll have more to say about this next week. We're also in touch with many public and private senior organizations to facilitate additional support and information sharing. Right now, there's obviously a high demand for a limited number of appointments, but more importantly, people should know that appointments are being added to many sites every day, and at the mass vaccination sites once a week, and the once a week is Thursday. We will have 7 of those sites open over the course of the next 10 days or so. Right now there are appointments at Gillette, Fenway Park, the Eastfield Mall in Springfield, and the Doubletree in Danvers. And we encourage folks to look for appointments at those sites. Yesterday, for example, Springfield and Danvers posted 10,000 appointments, and they were booked within hours. Today, Springfield and Danvers posted an additional 15,000 appointments, and those are being booked. And Gillette Stadium and Fenway Park posted 20,000 new appointments this morning, and according to the folks at the command center, these appointments are also fully booked. The mass vaccination sites post their appointments, as I said, once a week, and on the weekly which is based on the weekly allocation of vaccine that we get from the federal government. That way, when people do book an appointment for a time and slot in the next 7 days after that, they can be certain that the vaccine will be available for them when they get there. The mass vaccination sites will post a large number of new appointments every Thursday. However, it's important to note that based on the number of vaccines that we receive, which this week went from 80,000 to 100,000 for next week in new first doses, the number that we receive from the federal government, the number of appointments that we'll be able to make will depend to some extent on the vaccine we get from the feds, and we anticipate and hope that that number will continue to grow in the weeks ahead. Other sites like the CVS Health sites post new appointment opportunities daily, and they plan to post at the 8 sites they currently have in Massachusetts, and they'll be rolling out additional sites over the next 10 days. Those 8 sites can do about 1,150 appointments a day, which represents about 8,000 a week, as I said. They will be adding additional sites in Massachusetts over the course of the next 10 days. Their appointments yesterday were fully booked, but you should check with a site if it's near you each day, because they will be adding appointments every day. In total, today alone, over 35,000 new appointments will go live at different sites. And if you're looking to visit other locations like pharmacies and community health centers, you should check back frequently because they do open their appointment books every day. The one difference is they're smaller, so they will have fewer appointments available than the mass vac sites will have. We obviously know everybody is anxious to put this behind them, and believe me, we know that people want to get their shots as soon as possible. We are asking people to have a little patience here, because even as we add capacity, there are currently somewhere around 1 million people, plus or minus, in Massachusetts who are eligible to get vaccinated. And at 100,000 new doses a week, you can do the math and figure out that that might mean it will take a little while for you to have the opportunity to get your first vaccination, and then book, obviously, at that time, your second vaccination as well. If you don't see an opening at a site that's interesting to you, or a place you would like to go, you should just go back and go back to that site each day. Eventually, an opportunity will become available and you can take it. And obviously, the mass vac sites, as we said, those sites around Massachusetts will be opening up based on the weekly supply that we get from the feds. Every Thursday, they will post tens of thousands of available openings for the following week based on the vaccine that we get from the federal government. As we continue to see an increase in the number of shots that we get from the feds, obviously capacity at the vaccine sites will keep growing, and that will make it possible for more and more people to get a vaccine as part of this weekly process. Again, we'll be announcing more resources soon to help seniors book their appointments, and that will make, I believe, things a lot easier, and we'll make other adjustments to make the process smoother for everybody. Now, the reason we're here today is because Raquel and Bob were kind enough to host us. Thank you very much. It's 1620. It's quite a building. You could play basketball in here. I've been to Cordage Park, as I said, a few times, including during the summer of 2018 for the groundbreaking ceremony we had on the Harbor Walk Apartments. A little slip of the tongue there. It's good to be back. We're especially pleased to be here at the 1620 Wine Bar, which received a grant through the Mass Growth Capital Corporation's COVID-19 Small Business Grant Program to support their operations. Obviously, due to COVID, many businesses, especially those that operate in what we think of as the indoor entertainment space, have had a terribly difficult time keeping the lights on, and this is to help them work their way through this second surge. And that's why we put this program together with our colleagues in the legislature, and why we made the decision to fund it at such a significant level. It is, in fact, the largest small business grant program of its kind in the country, and it does give preference to what we think of as indoor entertainment businesses, and those that are operated in many cases by business owners and owners who couldn't get access to the federal Paycheck Protection Program or other federal or state or local aid. We're grateful to the team at Mass Growth Capital. This has been an enormous undertaking for them, for processing applications and working as quick as they can to get money out the door and into the hands of these small business owners as quickly as possible. Today we're announcing another $45 million in grants, which will be going out to another 1,100 small businesses, including 5 others here in Plymouth. About a third of these grantees have received no other aid of any kind, and this is the 4th round of grants through this program since December 21st. To date, we've awarded almost $280 million to more than 5,800 small businesses. This is a $720 million program, so we obviously have a long way to go and a lot of opportunity to continue to support small businesses as they work their way through this second surge. We'll be announcing these grants pretty much every week as we work our way through the applications that Mass Growth Capital got. And we know that while the last year has been particularly difficult for many of us, it's been very difficult on places like this: restaurants, venues, banquet halls, so-called indoor entertainment venues. For them in particular, They have made terrible sacrifices over the course of this year to deal with COVID, and we very much appreciate the opportunity we have to support them as we all try and work through this. Let me just close by saying to Bob and Raquel, thanks again for hosting us. This is really a beautiful place, and I look forward to having an opportunity to come back when things are a little more like they used to be with respect to the operation of institutions and venues like this.